Adjust your camera to infrared and somebody call Chris Hansen because there's a predator on the loose. Let's get started. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba-ba. Hello homies, one and all, welcome to Thumb Together. Today we're going to be talking about The Predator together. My name is Andrew Fantasia. Thank you so much for watching. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please feel free to give it a thumbs up and give some love to that subscribe button as well. Otherwise, The Predator will get me. The Predator movies are a very strange series of movies, and I have enjoyed them all for different reasons. I enjoyed the first one because it's just a fantastic movie. I enjoyed the second one because it was just pure late 80s / early 90s cheese, and I like that. I enjoyed the one that came out in 2010 because even though it failed, it tried to do something different. And I enjoyed this one for being the first one since the original to try to infuse some heart into the whole mess. But the thing about all these movies, now, we have 4 of them if you don't count the Alien vs. Predator, and really nobody does at this point. The thing about these 4 movies is that they're so vastly different, with the exception of the common denominator being there's a predator in them. The tissue that connects them is so fine, it's practically transparent. I read an article on Vox that said something so profound that I agree with 100%. The article said, the Predator movies aren't so much a franchise as they are movies that feel like they could be a franchise if somebody cracked the code. And I think that kind of sums it all up, doesn't it? Every single one is its own individual story about its own individual people dealing with their own individual predator for their own individual reasons. Nothing has consequences moving forward in the overall story. There is no overall story. And this movie, the new one by Shane Black that just came out, barely references the old ones. The closest thing to a reference you'll get to the original is they keep saying that humans have been dealing with predators since 1987. That's it. They just keep dropping the year 87, like the government has been looking for these guys since 87. Oh man, we had our first recorded sighting in 1987. Like, that's it. A big disappointment for me was I was really expecting a cameo from Mr. Schwarzenegger. And there is no Arnold Schwarzenegger in this movie. And I think it would behoove you to know that before going in. I was disappointed because I was expecting it. He's still acting, expressed interest in the franchise. He's friends with Shane Black because they were in the first movie together. So the whole time I'm sitting there, I'm like, there's no way Schwarzenegger's not going to show up. And I'm like on the edge of my seat. I'm like, I can't wait. I know he's not going to be doing anything crazy. He's probably just going to be sitting down and have like 5 lines of dialogue and that's it. But that'll make me happy. I was picturing, like somebody brings the main group of characters into a building and they're like, listen, you don't have experience fighting these predator things, but we know a guy who does. And there's like this desk, right, with a big chair, and Schwarzenegger's in the chair and he turns around and he's got his cigar in his hand and he looks at all our main characters and he says, so, I hear you're trying to kill a predator. I know how to kill them. They're ugly and they're smart, but I'm smarter. I teach you. That's all I was expecting, and we didn't even get that. I mean, we've all read about the controversy where Shane Black called up a friend of his to be in the movie, and that friend happened to be a sex offender. I mean, you can call up a sex offender to be in your movie, but you can't call up Schwarzenegger. So I don't know. That really bummed me out. But regardless of my own personal wants and needs, is The Predator any good? And the answer is yes, it's any good. I need to watch the other movies again because it's been a long time since I've seen Predator 2 and the 2010 one. So I need to watch them again and remind myself just how, on the spectrum of good or bad they were. Because right now, as it stands, this new 2018 movie might be my second favorite, right under the first one, and it's close because I really liked what they did here. It just kept leaving me wishing they had done more with it. It gives us a new main group of characters to follow, and they're all pretty cool people. Unfortunately, I was not a fan of the main character, played by Boyd Holbrook. He was just the typical boring, I'm a badass macho soldier, and every fight I get into, I always win, and I say badass things after I win. Yeah, guns. He was just that kind of guy. He was just detestable. Like, I did not like him at all. Like, this guy's our main hero who we're supposed to be rooting for. In the meantime, I was rooting for the Predator to kill this dude. He's not quite Joel Kinnaman in Altered Carbon levels of unlikable, but he's close. I just wish he and the main character from the first Godzilla would run off and just have a movie called Boring White Soldier Men and just let us have our cool movies with good characters and they don't have to be a part of it. But the rest of the cast was fun. Olivia Munn does a good job. All these guys on this prison bus that we meet, all these prisoners, they're all really cool. They've got their fun personalities that they bring to the table, and they're all a little crazy too, which is neat. And I think you kind of have to be crazy to fight a predator. But what I look forward to most in a Predator movie is the Predator itself. And in this movie, we get not one, but two Predators. And one of them is significantly bigger. He's been eating his green veggies. However, what I have been wanting since, the first one is an exploration of the Predator mythology. And we keep getting tiny morsels of it. In the first movie, there was barely any. It's just, here's an alien on Earth, ba-boom. In the second movie, there was, again, barely any. In the 2010 movie, they dived a little deeper. And on this one, they dived a little deeper. But it's always just kernels, just tiny crumbs of Predator mythology. And that's fine if you're doing like a TV show and you want to drop the breadcrumbs very gradually. But it's been 31 years. Can we please just finally get a story about the Predators themselves? I think at this point, that's just what we need. You can have humans that they kill, that's fine. You can have other creatures that they kill. At this point, any story that you can tell us on Earth is only going to be half as interesting as any story you can tell us on whatever world the Predators come from. And yes, in this film you do learn more about why they keep coming to Earth, but it's still not enough. It's still not something tangible. It's not something that'll make you appreciate the world that has been built for these creatures. It's just another reason for them to hunt us besides sport. Another place where the movie really suffers is in the editing. And this is a common gripe. A lot of the critiques I've read have had the same issues with it. The movie is edited in a very jagged way. A lot of the editing feels rushed at times. The movie opens with the Predator coming to Earth in the spaceship, just like in the first movie. And the editing in that, like he crashes through the Earth's atmosphere and lands like in a forest. And the editing of that crash is so quick. Like there's no time taken to just linger the camera on the ship and be like, hey guys, this is a spaceship. Look at that. That's kind of neat, right? It doesn't linger on that. It's just like, yeah, here's a spaceship. It crashed. And I'm sitting there like, whoa. Easy. Breathe. Let's take that in for a second. But no, it just kind of zips past the wonder of a crashing spaceship as if that ain't no thing. And it should be a thing, right? And there are a lot of other parts of this movie where you feel like chunks have really been taken out of it, like big bites, including the characters suddenly driving an RV that comes out of nowhere. And it made me feel like I missed something, but no, this RV is just there now and it's theirs. And the sad thing is, this is not a long movie at all. It's like 110 minutes, maybe. The shortest Marvel movie is longer than this. So it's not like they were bursting at the seams and they're like, guys, we gotta trim some scenes from this puppy. It was a short movie that felt like it had pieces missing. And maybe that means there's a director's cut on the horizon. I don't know. But, I would have been fine with another 5 minutes explaining where that RV came from. I would have been fine with another 20 seconds of just, look how nice this spaceship is that's crashing. But I guess we needed more time for Boyd Holbrook to smolder at the camera and be badass. Because soldier. Now, I did love that Shane Black does have love for the franchise, and he throws in little winks and nods. There's a line from the first two movies. When the people see the Predator for the first time unmasked, they say, "You're one ugly motherfucker." And that's a famous line from Predator 1 and 2. And it wasn't in the 2010 one. They didn't bother with it, and I was kind of bummed. I remember coming out of that movie, I'm like, why didn't they say the line, man? In this one, there are two instances where they quote the first Predator movie, but with a really cool twist. And I loved that. Those were some of the best parts of the film for me, that they acknowledge that this is, in fact, a franchise, and let's treat it as such by having some fun like that. Now, what I'm going to say here is a minor spoiler, So I'll put the spoiler warning up, but there's one more concern that I had that was really upsetting. Again, it has to do with the editing. One of the actors in this movie that I have not mentioned yet is Sterling K. Brown. And Sterling K. Brown is a fantastic actor. Like, this dude is legit. If you ever watch This Is Us, he's the man. Okay, he is just the man. And in The Predator, Sterling K. Brown plays sort of the human villain. He is a government agent, and he's a big meanie, and he's mean, and he kidnaps people, and he just, all he wants is to capture the Predator spaceship, and he's not a nice person. At the third act of the movie, when the Predator's coming after everybody in the woods, he has no choice. He's got to team up with the group of heroes and help them take down the Predator because that's a much bigger threat. So they put aside their differences, and Sterling K. Brown joins the group of the good guys. Everybody's sort of grabbed pieces of the Predator's weaponry throughout the movie. And Sterling has the little shoulder rocket thing. He's wearing it. And during the firefight with the Predator, there is a moment where Sterling's rocket turns around and fires at his own head and kills him. Now, he was the main human villain of the movie, so I didn't really expect him to make it out of the movie alive. But when this rocket turned and killed him, unless I missed something, but it happened so quickly, like a blink of an eye. There was just a bunch of people shooting at the Predator. You know, guns are going off everywhere. The Predator's shooting stuff, lasers, everything is covered in smoke. And then there's like a microsecond shot of Sterling's thing just going and killing him. And then that's it. And it's never, you know, they never make it a moment. They're never like, yeah, look, this asshole got his comeuppance. Look at this. It's just, and then the fight continues and nothing is said about it. I literally blinked in my seat in the theater and I'm like, wait, did Sterling K. Brown just get killed? Like, why did he just get killed like that? If that is what happened, again, it happened so quickly that I can't even be sure of what I saw. But if that's how they dealt with the comeuppance for the human villain, that's horrible. Like, that's how you do it so quickly without even showcasing why it happened and how, and like giving it time to breathe, making it a moment. And I think that's the biggest problem with The Predator, is there are no moments. That spaceship crashing should have been a moment. It wasn't. Sterling K. Brown getting his comeuppance because the shoulder rocket malfunctions or something should have been a moment. It wasn't. Our first shot of the Predator himself should have been a moment. It wasn't. He just stands up out of his chair and he's walking around and we're just like, oh, okay, there's a Predator on the screen now, okay. Nothing in this movie felt important. It didn't feel like it had any moments where we're supposed to be drawn in. It was just like, stuff happens, the end. Another big thing that the editing just butchered was at the very end, climax of everything, that they fought the Predator and they killed the big bad Predator and he's dead. And they cut to a shot of the Predator on the ground. Boyd Holbrook has just shot him in the head and the Predator's dead. That shot of the dead Predator lasts a second and then it dissolves into like the aftermath epilogue, like so quickly. It's like a shot of Boyd Holbrook, boom, boom, I killed you. A shot of the Predator and dissolve into the epilogue. Like that fast. What I just did, that fast. Again, I had to stop and be like, whoa, why did they make that edit so quickly? Nothing was allowed to be a moment. That's the problem. Not a single frame of this movie was allowed to breathe. It's not as messy and like ADD chaotic as something as like Suicide Squad, but, you know, it's not far off from that. So I liked The Predator. I had quite a bit of fun with this movie, and I really hope it gets sequels because I want the Predator franchise to actually be a franchise for the first time in 31 years. Please let sequels happen. Please let them be better than this. Please let Schwarzenegger be in them. Let this just be the shaky start to what will end up being a very good franchise of fun movies. But anyway, that has been The Predator. I'm Andrew Fantasia. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you here next time. Until then, adios.